Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Black Baseball Mixtape. I am your host, Cheats. We got a lot going on, so I don't even know if I can say it just yet. I think I can say it. Shout out to our title partners, if you will, Stilo. Stilo is in the building, so we definitely want to shout them out. A lot of big things coming between Black Baseball Mixtape and Stilo moving forward. We have a very, very special guest. It's always a pleasure to be able to talk to players, always a pleasure to be able to talk to young players. We've got Tyler Tolbert, number one, if you will, for the Northwest Arkansas Naturals. Tyler is 25 years old. If you're not familiar with the Naturals, they play in the Texas League. They're the AA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. Tyler, welcome to the mixtape, my man.
Man, thank you for having me. Thank you.
We were talking a little bit before we got started, and we'll start with kind of the noun and go backwards. But you are in what is now, I mean, you are in it. It is dog days of the
Dog
season,
days.
dog days of baseball. It's hot out there now all the
hmm
time. And you have not only played this AA season, but you were telling me dating back now for about, I don't know how many months. So this season seems like the longest on paper. It's the longest season you played, AA season. I think you're into how many games now? And I mean, it's up there.
Man, I don't. I lost count.
I think it's
We're
80,
up there.
80, 90, something like that.
Yeah, we're in 90 something. I know
Yeah,
that we're
yeah.
90 pushing 100. We're up there.
So so when you're in the grind like this, tell me kind of just your approach, because you also have a unique feature, and I looked at your stats. You'll play shortstop one day, you'll play center field the next day. It's crazy for you. How
Yeah, it's crazy.
what is your routine now in the dog days of summer? How do you stay focused working on your game?
Honestly, just taking it day by day. Um, just I get there, depending on what's kind of sore, bugging me. I just get work on a little bit. Recovery is huge because after you play a game, you gotta wake up and do it again the next day. So like right now, I'm just make sure the leg's okay, make sure I get stretched out really well. A lot of recovery boots, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of supplements, vitamins and stuff like that, just to help with anti-inflammatory stuff and just eating properly, hydrating. You got to stay on that, especially when it's 120 outside. I
Mm-hmm.
know that's exaggeration, but it's been hot out there.
Right.
But like right now, just kind of just making sure I stay on top of just hydration and eating and stretching and not doing too much because like you gotta get ready for 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, whatever time we play that night, and just make sure I'm not like tiring myself out because we are in the dog days
I like to
of
hear it.
baseball right now. Yeah.
No, I like to hear that, and I like to hear your approach, because it's an adjustment. You've been a professional baseball player for a little while now, a couple years now. What has been kind of the biggest adjustment for people that don't know, like me, people that don't play AA baseball, 90 game schedules every day? What is the biggest adjustment for you when you look and you're like, man, I'm a professional baseball player? I really like, as opposed to you know what I mean? You've been playing all your life.
uh,
But what is the big
it's
adjustment to pro ball?
it's the schedule. It's just the day in, day out schedule. You're getting there at 2 o'clock, and you might not leave the field till 10:30, 11 o'clock. Depending on the day, and it's the mental grind and the physical grind with that, and you gotta honestly just put your boots on and just here we go, dive in it, and just understand it's a marathon and not a sprint, and you just want to just stay steady, and you need to do things outside of baseball to keep your mind sane. And like baseball is it's a very mental sport. So, just getting out and doing something different besides baseball because doing it every day, if you think about it all day, every day, it will eat you alive. And so like, you gotta have that like that mental break, like that
Mm-hmm.
mental space to just like, even if it's just going do something outdoorsy. like play golf, fish, something, whatever your hobby is. A lot of us is
Well,
video
what
games.
what's yours? What do you do? What do you do to keep
So
your mind away
on,
from
on daily I play video games, but I've been getting into golf lately. So so
nice?
so if it's not too hot out there, I go play 18 and so just hanging out with friends and we're just honestly just chilling and just taking a break.
Now, did you play golf growing up? Like, or is golf new to
No,
you?
this is new. This is new.
So you traded
We're
one
still
mentally straining sport for so now your recreational sport could be as equally mentally straining as
yes,
baseball.
yes,
How is that
but
possible?
but but I don't go out there to be like mental. I'm going out there to have for the vibes and just have fun and like you hit a couple good shots to bring you back. That's all that matters.
What do you
So
like? What do you like? Because I'm fascinated with this, and I enjoy this. And I love the fact that you decided to choose another sport, another game that is pretty taxing, right? It's pretty hard. What is it that draws you? I know you said the vibes and the camaraderie, but about the game itself, is there anything that kind of drives you to that? Do you go out and play by yourself, or is it just like a group activity?
it's a group activity, but
Okay,
I think I'm gonna go and get into it by myself. Um,
it's dangerous. I'm telling you, it's
it's,
dangerous.
it's it's dangerous. It's a dangerous thing, but like I hit a few shots this year because I took some time off. I nibble and dabble into it, but like this year I went and played and I hit my first birdie, and
Went crazy, like it hit
and I
first
was
home
going
run.
crazy. Yeah, yeah, and how it happened, like we're on 18 and like we're playing a little golf tournament with the guys here, and we had 2 days off, so we're like, all right, we're gonna play 18, and I'm like, all right, guys, I'll come out because I hadn't golfed all year. And I went out there and I played decent and I birdied 18 from the bunker and I've been hooked ever since. It
That's
was a bunker
funny.
shot and I've been hooked ever since.
Now here's the $1 million question, and I'm assuming since you play, the answer is no. But does your golf swing ever mess with your baseball swing, or vice versa?
I don't think so. I don't
We're gonna
because
look into this.
honestly, I'm gonna say no because as many guys in the big leagues and as many like my
Right.
teammates and all like everybody plays golf. So I'm gonna say
That
no. And like in the most successful like players in the big leagues play golf. So I'm
that
gonna
is
go with no.
funny. That's funny because yeah, no, I just heard an interview with CC Sabathia. CC's one of the founding board, well, one of the board members of the Players Alliance. I think he's the vice president right now. But
Hmm.
now that he's retired from baseball, he plays golf like every day. He said he was like,
Yes.
I can't get into it in season like I want to. But he was saying Derek Jeter, CC's, all of them all play golf all the time. And
Yeah.
just so we know, ladies and gentlemen, Tyler is, I want to say, in the top 5 of Texas League in hits. So it can't be messing with your swing that much because you are, I believe
don't
you're in
don't
top 5 in hits.
don't jinx me.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
jinx me
yeah. I'm
too
not gonna
much.
do it. I'm not gonna do it. But you're also in top 5 in stolen bases as well, I believe,
Hmm.
and maybe in triples as well. So talk to me a little bit about just kind of what you're looking to do, and when you go into a season, what you're looking to do, what you're looking to accomplish, because you had a lot of different things thrown at your plate. Not only, like we said, obviously the hitting, the stolen bases, but you're playing infield, you're playing outfield. When you set into this season and we're already past the halfway point, what goals did you have for yourself?
uh I remember just telling everybody, just look, I'm just gonna be like I told you earlier, just be where my feet are.
Mm.
And I just want to have fun, play hard, and like just do my job. Whatever my job is, I'm just gonna go out there and do what I need to do. Um, with that being said, we last year we made a swing change after the year was over. I flew down to Arizona and went down there for a couple weeks where I hit an apartment. And with the swing change that led to me going to Australia, they recommended or asked me if I want to go to Australia for winter ball just to figure some things out with the swing change. And Australia, shout out to all my people in Australia, Brisbane Bandits, love you guys. We're going down there and just playing really helped a whole lot, and just like understanding the swing, understanding the ball, and just seeing baseball in a different world, honestly. And then just now we jump forward to here and we just keep riding the wave, honestly. And we're just not looking too far ahead. Because in the years past, I would just look too far ahead, like, oh, what's going on ahead of me? Oh, what's going on in this, like this, that. And like you really can't get caught up in that. That you just gotta stay laser focused and just be where your feet are, honestly.
You touched on it. I was gonna mention it, but this is a great segue into it. You did spin winter ball in Australia.
Yes,
And I
yes.
looked at that and in your kind of trajectory and where you were playing, and it did seem like it stood out. I was like, what in the world? And it seemed as if, just to be honest with you, you got a lot of things right in Australia. I mean, things were really just looking again. You tell me, what was that experience like? And it seemed like, correct me if I'm wrong, it kind of definitely helped put you on track there.
So, yeah, honestly, I went down there to play center field. Our farm director, he's like, look, we want you to try center field. I had center field and I played it in college, so I wasn't too unfamiliar with it, but it's been some years. So I went down there and played, and our manager, David Nielsen, he was a former big leaguer, and we had a talented group down there. And so just going down there and just learning and listening to some of the vets that played a long time in the game and just listening to him. And he was just like, just be a good teammate, play hard. And we had fun. We were a really good team. Oh man, we had a blast. And my
Mm-hmm.
family and my girlfriend got to come out. So it was one of those things that once in a lifetime, honestly, because not a lot of people go like, "Oh, I've been to Australia," and and just going on there and playing baseball. So this game can take you a lot of places, and it was just a blessing. I had a blast, and I have a lot of love for the Australian people down there, and my family does too. We had a blast.
Now, is that something normal? You said your farm director, told you that that might be the best option for you to go, work on your game in Australia. You said obviously a lot of talented players, a lot of vets. We know about kind of the, you know, Caribbean winter leagues and kind of
Yeah.
Mexican winter leagues. I hadn't heard a lot about the Australian Australian winter league. So,
So
is it kind of was it familiar faces? Was it Royal affiliate teammates? Who plays in this league?
So I was like the guinea pig, honestly. And I
Mm-hmm.
was not supposed to go play winter ball last year because I forgot how many games I played last year. It was over 100 and something. And I thought I was just going to be shut down or whatever. And he just, pulled me in office and asked if I wanted to go. And I was like, yeah, it's Australia. And so down there, it's the KBO, the NPB. So that's the Korean Professional Baseball League.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Japanese Baseball League. So a lot of their players go down there too. And you got like a lot of former like big leaguers throughout the whole league and guys that played in the respective KBO and NPB league. There's a lot of affiliate guys. So like on my team, it was me and another Royals guy who's a pitcher, and we were affiliated like a pipeline with the Brewers. And so the Brewers sent like six prospects. Actually, our former GM, Dave Moore's son, Robert Moore, was my roommate, and he was on my team down there. So we connected and we had a lot of fun. Other teams, the Phillies is in Adelaide. They have a
Really?
pipeline. Yeah. They had like six or so guys, and there's just affiliated guys all around the whole league.
How
Pirates,
would
they sent down four or five guys in Sydney. It was cool. It was really cool.
how would you judge the competition? So would you equate it to double A like you're in now, triple A or high A? What would you say?
So like it just kind of like depends. So like when
Yeah.
you're facing a good team, you're gonna see good pitching,
Yeah.
So like, and I'm not disrespecting anybody, but like the bottom level teams, they didn't have as deep as a pitching staff as the top level,
That's
and then like
that's not disrespect. Look at the major leagues right now. look at
right,
any
and then
look at
so
any
like
team. Pitching is a
so
big
like
deal.
yeah, so like like if a team had won that many games, then they probably had one good arm, and
Yeah.
that's it. And then like you roll down into Adelaide, and they're rolling guys that got big league time. That are they're in Triple A, Double A, or they made their debut and you got guys that are like, okay, they got AAA time, and you know they're just
Yeah.
done again work. And we have former big leaguers on our team, and they might not throw like 98 like they used to, but they still like know how to pitch at 92, 94. You know,
Tough.
so
Last thing on this, because you said you had a ball. You had a ball down there in Australia.
yeah,
what was
yeah.
the best thing you did outside of baseball?
Oh man, I could go all day about this. It was like vacation. So I went to the Steve Irwin Zoo. I we went to Bondi Beach. We
Oh,
went
nice.
we went everywhere. Like
That's
every
fantastic.
off day we're at a beach, and you know, just petting kangaroos, petting a koala, like just doing just exotic stuff.
That's
So
hilarious. Well,
yeah, it was.
that's great. That's great. Let's go from Arkansas where you are now, from
Mhm.
Australia to back home. Take me back home to Birmingham, Alabama. When did you first kind of fall in love with baseball? When did you realize baseball was going to be something that stuck with you for a very long time?
At a young age, I was pretty good. Um, my dad and my mom kind of knew I was pretty good, but I like to play basketball too. So
Mm.
basketball was up there, and I played decent football. But I would say first grade, um, first second grade. I played first base because I was the only one that could catch. And one of my one of my good childhood friends, he was a shortstop, and we ended up, you know, playing high school together.
Mm.
And like we were only two that could catch, and that's what it kind of like separated. And then as you just grow, I just fell in love with the just getting better. Fifth grade, and then I don't know. When I got to middle school, I want to play basketball so bad. Like that's what like I want to play basketball. So like baseball was kind of on the back burner, but I still loved it. But it was on the back burner. And then I got to high school, and it just kind of like turned back up again, and I just kept falling in love with it.
And even back then, were you always? I know you said first base because you could catch, but were you always a utility player, or like when you were growing up,
No,
did you play different positions?
so growing up, I was primarily a infielder, like
Mm.
shortstop, second base, and I didn't really play outfield. And then yeah, I just really just played infield every day.
So I always ask this because we see as we identify players and they start to get better and they start to excel, you start to see less and less black players in the elite levels. When you were
Yeah,
growing up, did you play with other black kids in Birmingham, or was it a situation where you were kind of always, one or two on a team?
I was the only one, and until
Oh,
I got to high school,
oh, are you serious?
till I got to high school, that's when I started playing with more. You know, high school. There's two or three of us. One of my best friends, I play with them in high school. It's so much fun. But like one, I played travel ball for East Cobb Astros, and that was the most I've ever played with. And we had a few on that team, and it was awesome to play. And that was like my first time having playing with multiple of you know black people on the same team. And then when I got back,
What age was that travel ball team?
I was 16. That's when I said 16,
Wow,
17. Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
That's
yeah. It
still
was
you played a lot
yeah.
before that happened.
Yeah, that's a lot, and I was the only one. I was the only one, you know, leading up to it. But yeah, when I got to high school, like it was 16, 17. That's when you started seeing two or three of us, and then like yeah, my sophomore year, that was the first time. That was the first time.
That's crazy. Now, because when you're young, you're a lot more what's the word? Adjustment in many ways is a lot easier because you're just out there
Yeah.
playing. Was there ever times where you noticed or you had conversations with your parents? You're like, man, I'm the only one. There's not a lot of black people out here playing.
That you kind of have that conversation young,
Mm,
because like in like middle school and kind of just growing up, all my friends, even still to this day, all my friends, my black friends, well, I have plenty of black friends that play professional baseball, but like growing up, all my friends were football players.
mm,
Like my friend group, my immediate friend group in growing up was football players.
mm.
All of them played Division One football. Uh, so it was just kind of that thing, and they are tell you, bro, I don't watch baseball. The only time I watch baseball is if I watch you play. I was like, yeah, yeah, and so like, and you just look around when you're young, you're like, all right, I'm the only one, and then when you play against another one out there, you're like, hey, and even now in pro ball, there's not that many of us, so when
Mm.
we see each other, we're like, hey, what's up? Talk to each other. You
Right, right.
good?
The
You need
brotherhood.
anything? Let me know. Yeah, it's the brotherhood. You need anything? Let me know. So,
Right.
so you kind of are aware of that
Mm.
growing up, and my mom and dad always say, you got to be twice as good to go half as far. So, because
Now,
all eyes on you.
now, especially as you got older. I'm not even. I'm just saying maybe kind of start that travel ball through high school before we get to UAB, and we'll get there soon. How did you kind of deal with any situations in regards to just like, man, I'm looking around and not a lot of people understand what I'm going through. Was it who did you lean to? Was it your friends that played football? Was it your parents? Who were you able to have conversations with about being a black baseball player?
So, like growing up, it was definitely my parents and my friend group. My friend group are still that's the core. We all support each other and everything. And like my parents are like my best friends. We talk every day. Um, yeah, it's in like literally it was just them. And growing up, and I was blessed, honestly, to with the village. The non even my non African American friends, and like I even call them my family because like there's a special family, the Youngs, uh, Cindy Young, Brad Young, their son Peyton. I play with Peyton Young. He's literally like my brother. I played with him since I was 10,
Mm.
like 9 or 10. That's when we met, and we played with each other from there all the way to 18 when we went to college and everything. We didn't go to the same college, but like nah, he's like literally my brother. So I had a really really good support from them, and just like they treated me like I was their son, and like we still are family. We talk every day, like his son is my nephew. That like I call him nephew. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Like
No, absolutely.
so I had a good village, and they kind of they took me in when I was just playing with them, and they were my family when I was away from
Right.
my family. Uh, and so like my mom and dad though, like I can talk to them about anything. So like
Mm.
if I had a problem, and my dad kind of went through the same thing when he played growing up, and he
Mm.
was the only one.
Mm.
And it was him and his best friend. They were on the same team, but my dad, like he said, he was the only one playing. That's back in the '80s and '90s,
Right.
and so just leaning on him as well for his guidance, what to do and everything like that. So he was just someone I can lean on.
Perfect. Now you are from Birmingham. You decided to make a college decision, clearly not too far from home. So you went to
Yeah.
Alabama, Birmingham. Talk to me about that decision. What was it about UAB, and kind of how was your recruiting process? Was it kind of a stressful time period, or was it just something like this is where I knew I wanted to do, and I feel like I made the right decision?
I got a crazy recruiting stuff.
Yeah.
So But no, I love UAB. They made me feel like a priority. Honestly, I remember Coach Raw. He was at every game. He was at games that didn't even need to be at.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I mean, like, and I felt like a priority. And Coach Shoot, I remember going on my visit, and they just laid out this is going to be the roster. Like you got a great opportunity to come in as a freshman and play right away, and the schedule and everything. And I just looked at the talent and talent they were producing. A lot of people didn't understand at that time UAB was producing guys that getting drafted. And like in my mind, I'm like, look, I'm trying to be three and out, and it had a good business school, and that's why I kind of knew I was going to go to school. Um, but to be honest with you, going through the process, it was crazy because like when back then, coaches couldn't really talk to you till like July 1st.
Right.
And then when like July 1st hit, I remember the phone was just blowing up the hook. You just stay on the phone all day. And UAB just stood out.
Mm.
And I remember we went to visit. And growing up, I would never thought I was going to UAB. Honestly, I
Too
like
close to
like
home.
growing up too, but like it's not too close to home. But like just that's not in your head.
Okay.
Um, So I remember we're going. I went down there for a visit, and then like Coach Shoot invited me down to lunch again on campus again. And I remember it was my mom, dad, and my grandmother. We're sitting in the office. I forgot we're just talking. He's like, how you doing? I go, I feel like committing today. And my parents had no idea. Like I was thinking
Oh
about committing.
wow.
So they look at me and they're just like, what? And then, so like they're
Wow.
like, did you just come out? I'm like, yeah, I'm coming here. And so it was a blessing. I had an amazing time. Met my amazing girlfriend there. Uh, so I'm not complaining. In my 3 years of UAB, I had a blast. I had a
So,
blast.
but talk to me about that adjustment. We talked a little bit about the kind of the adjustment in pro ball, and you mentioned the schedule, coming from travel ball in high school to landing at UAB. Was there a big adjustment in regards to things that happened on the field and
Yeah,
kind of adulthood, if you will?
yeah. So my freshman year, I struggled really bad. Um, and then it was just a game. I was just, it's just, I don't know. I wasn't confident. I wasn't myself, and it's kind of like you kind of lost your identity. I remember that I went out with our chaplain, and this is kind of like just got me back on it. It's just like my identity was too much into baseball. Like, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like there's more to life than just I'm a baseball player. And so like I got my identity too wrapped up in that, and I kind of like lost myself doing that. And like once I like kind of like separated and everything just went back to normal. Like you're more than just a baseball player, and then there's more to life because like I was just focusing everything on baseball.
Mm.
Like we lost, my mood would be just on that. If I had a bad game and everything like that. So like there's more to the life than just baseball. And shout out to Jared, our chaplain back
Mm.
then. He really we he really like helped me through that struggle period because like I wasn't playing good. Like I was making good grades and everything. Ooh, my alarm clock, my sorry. So I wasn't playing too well, and like my confidence was just shot and everything, just too much in your head. So once I got that, like there's more to life than just your baseball. Everything just went back to normal.
Got back to yourself. That's a great piece of advice, though, because I think anybody that's listening, especially any young players or coaches, there's always, you know, kind of things that if you get too wrapped up, too laser focused, especially on like performance on the field, and it'll let you
Right.
affect everything else with the understanding that baseball is a very hard game. It's a
Mm-hmm.
very hard game. It's a very mental game. And you've got to make sure, that you're not too wrapped up in every single at bat, like every single, because hopefully, knock on wood, there'll be another one coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be able to get yourself on track. That's a great lesson because you see it every day. You see kids, for like what you said, lack of a better term, losing themselves. We see young people losing themselves. We see young people, especially of color, because you alluded to it with what your parents gave those instructions. I got those same instructions playing. I kind of give those same instructions to my child, where it's like, hey man, you gotta stand out, right? You
Right.
gotta be the dude. If you gonna be on this team,
You gotta be the
you
you gotta
gotta
be
be
the
the
one. You gotta
dude,
be him. Yeah.
right? And so, and that carries with us. That
Mm-hmm.
carries with us as black players, as back, that carries with us. Um, you'd mentioned your goal going into UAB was to be 3-and-out. You were drafted out of UAB, and obviously you performed on the field as well, and it kind of started that journey. What was kind of the biggest thing you say you would have learned? Because a lot of players, especially at the AA level right now, a lot of them haven't gone to college. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's kind of, obviously there's an influx of international players that had a different pathway. There's obviously players like yourself that did either 3 or 4 years at college. Um, what was the biggest lesson you learned going to college?
Time management.
Mm,
uh,
mm.
that's honestly probably the biggest thing. It was just time management and learning to like say no to things. Is just like prioritizing things.
Mm.
Honestly, just like knowing that you can't be everywhere, you can't do everything, and you gotta learn sacrifices, honestly, because like you gotta find that balance of like you want to enjoy college, but also you want to stay focused because I feel like a lot of people get to college and they lose focus. You know what I'm saying? So like you gotta find that balance of enjoying college, but also like you here for business, and so that's the biggest thing that I learned in college.
You had a decision to make, and because you still had some years of eligibility left, right, when you got drafted.
Yes.
So how did you come to that decision? Like now is the time to make the leap to pro ball.
I kind of knew I was going to get drafted. I just did not know where.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so just leading up to the draft and everything, did some pre-draft workouts and everything. I kind of knew that there was a high possibility chance, and I just really was just praying to go to the right organization, in which I did because this org fits my game, and they're great people as well. Um, so just like leading up to the draft, I kind of just knew, and if they hit certain thresholds of like, all right, great org, and then I hate to bring this in, but the money aspect is if we're all good on the
You got to bring
financials,
it in. You're a professional.
yeah, yeah. And so
It's
if we're all
professional
good on the
baseball.
money aspect, and then like and they're going to pay for my last semester or last year of school, then
Mm-hmm.
like we're going to give it a green light because like honestly, it's a once in a lifetime chance. Only a lot of you don't see that many guys name go across the board. A lot of people would just love to be just drafted, and but I was just blessed to have the opportunity and everything checked out, and now we're here.
Round 13. The Major League Baseball draft is one of the most fascinating things that's ever like
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. I've been following it now for several years. I still don't understand it. I know about like slotted things and priorities,
Mm-hmm.
but when I try to explain people that aren't familiar with a baseball draft that says, "Oh, that person was drafted, in the, number 5 overall." And you'll be like, "Well, is he the 5th best player?" They'll be like, "No, this person that was
No.
drafted in the ninth round is way higher projection than him." And they're
Yeah.
like, "Well, how did that do?" You got to explain to them like, there's money, there's choices, there's options.
Yeah.
Did
There's
you
so much.
did
There's
you
so much.
have a crazy? So you were drafted in the 13th round,
Mm-hmm.
2019. Do you remember that being a particularly stressful situation, or did you get like, or do you feel
So
like it went
I
according to plan?
remember. So this is before I even had an agent. This is before I met Alex and everything. So like I just remember I had a projection of where I was going, and I was landing in that projection. And I just remember leading up to like the pick, and before day three, I was on the phone with like four different teams at the same time, and just like it was just so much going on, and so it's very stressful. Um, but once it's done, it's done.
Right.
And me and my dad and my parents, we all joke around. We're like, oh, thank God we ain't going through that again when the draft comes around. I just remember just being in the basement talking to my pops, and he was like, "What are you thinking?" and everything. I said, Kansas City made a strong offer. I got talked to the farm director and the guy who was making the choices, um, and we agreed to a deal. And then they had the second pick of that round, and I remember the Giants calling me right after my name went across on the second pick, and they're like, "Hey, we're taking you right here." I think they had
You're
like the
like,
ninth, the
too
ninth pick.
late.
And I said, I just got picked. He looked, he said, "Oh, dude, congrats, I see it." And so that's so funny.
That's
That was so
hilarious.
funny. Yeah, yeah. So that was a fun little
That's
time right
it.
there.
That's an interesting tidbit though. A lot of people don't know. So you agree basically to a deal before they pick you, or like when they're on the phone
So
with you,
like,
they're
so
like,
like, so basically, like leading up to the pick, I forgot how many picks they were behind
mm,
or whatever. It was like four or five picks. It was just like, look, we're gonna take you right here at 13, right here in the second. We agreed to this amount, and we're like, yeah, and
"Yeah, that's
and
interesting,
so yeah, so
man." So let's have some fun because before I get you out of here, I know this is great. I mean, just hearing kind of your journey and your pathway. When was the first time? So, say the draft is over, you've got a report now. When was the first time you were like, man, this is professional baseball? Was it just like arriving at a facility, meeting a coach, or was it like I'm at a workout facility and now I'm seeing real big league? Like, when was the first time you were like, man, I'm in pro ball now?
So I think we're just like bright eyed and bushy tailed. That's like I say, like when your first like year, because it's an adjustment and like we're seeing big league rehabbers like facing like Johnny Cueto and all that stuff. But like I think the first time I was just like, whoa, I'm in a different like world is when I met Joe Girardi. He was just at our facility in the fall. And like I'm in the cage. He's like, hey, Joe Girardi. I'm like, I know you. Like
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right, right.
Like so yeah, that was
That's
pretty
cool.
cool. And then just like kind of just being around the big leaguers and stuff like that. And just that's when once you start seeing like guys you see on TV,
Mhm.
or like guys that like you're like, man, I remember watching you when I was like, like 12.
I was saying, so do you play? I ask people this all the time. So do you play it cool, or like, or do you like introduce yourself and be like, man, I'm
so
a
like
fan? Like, how does that
so
work?
like you be cool. So let me tell you this story real quick. So like, oh God. So this year was like my first big league spring training. I got the first major league spring training invitation. And so when you walk into the locker room, you see Salvi, you see, Zach Greinke and everything, like, like you see them. So when we signed Jackie Bradley Jr., I I was like, dude, we had breakfast and I said, man, I don't do this. But I said, you don't know this like full circle. He's like, what you mean? I was like, I was in fifth grade, fifth and sixth grade when like, you went back to back in with South Carolina. Like, yes,
Mhm.
I remember watching you. He said, man, you make me feel oh, I was like, dog, like I just grew up like watching you. And so and just hanging out with Jackie and being in spring training with Jackie was awesome. Jackie's a great guy, great baseball player.
From Richmond, Virginia,
So
by the way.
yeah, he's from Richmond. That's why I said
Yeah,
shout out to Richmond.
yeah,
Uh, great golf player.
he is. Wow,
He's so
wow.
athletic. He's so good. Um, yeah, his wife and kids are awesome and everything. Jackie's a great guy. But like that was a funny story. I'm in like big league spring training, and I'm just like, dude, like I remember watching you play like South Carolina, and I was in high school, you with the Red Sox and everything. So yeah,
So that
love
one you
Jackie.
you weren't as cool. You were fairly cool,
Yeah,
but you
yeah. I
like
was I was
other.
like I was like I'm a fanboy real quick, and he was cool.
But you had to overall though. You try to measure your composure or no? Because I'd
Yeah,
lose my
yeah,
mind. Okay,
yeah.
okay,
Like it's just you out there playing a game, and
yeah,
they is it more things just like respect. You respect them, they respect you, and
yeah.
everything. You talk to them, and we're out there playing baseball, so it's fun.
That's really cool. Now you mentioned just having a black vet in the locker room, even somebody you can talk to during spring training. I'm learning as I go through this journey of podcasting and talking to players, that doesn't happen as much as it used to. From what I
Right.
understand, and mid late 80s, early 90s, where there were the percentage of black players were a lot higher, there was a lot more veterans around to
hmm
to scoop up a young guy and tell him, hey, these are the things you do, these are the things you don't do. Have you ever had that type of experience, especially with veterans, but like any black veterans that would say, hey,
Yeah,
nice to meet you, kid, how's it going?
yeah. So Reggie Sanders took me under his wing ever since I got drafted.
I've
Um,
never met Reggie Sanders, but you are not the first person that has said Reggie Sanders
bro,
named as
Reggie,
an amazing mentor.
bro, was amazing. We just actually had lunch a couple days ago.
Wow.
So Reggie has just been a very, very strong shoulder I can lean on, and just like just everything. And his role with the Royals is kind of like a mentor thing. And so he's someone I can just really, really go to about anything. And I have actually a couple of them. Our first base coach now with the big league team, Damon Hollins.
Mhm.
When I was in big league spring training, I had Dame as my first base coach in rookie ball. So, like it's just full circle thing. And while I'm up there, we're cracking jokes and like, man, we're a long way from Idaho Falls, and and everything. So D Holla, he's great. Chris Nelson, he's he's a high A hitting coach with the Royals, and a non-black mentor is Eddie Rodriguez, their base coach for the White Sox. I had him as an infield coach last year, and like him and I were really really close. He's Cuban, but like that's really like the guys I lean on. I text them anytime, and like this year is CC Cologne, Christian Cologne. Just anything, they've been really there for me because all of us were minorities
Mhm.
and everything like
Absolutely.
that, and so like each guy's different. Each guy played in a different era. Each guy different played for a different team and everything like that. So just lean on them for stories and everything has been good. So I got a
That's
good little
awesome.
support cast.
Awesome. Tyler, we're running a little long, but I got a couple questions I got to ask all of our guests. So
Yeah.
put your thinking cap on. I ask everyone this. If you could face any pitcher throughout history, any pitcher you want to dig in the box, test their stuff, who do you face and why?
Okay, I want to see Satchel Paige because
Hmm?
I like honestly for you he told everybody to sit down. Don't even worry about it.
Right. I
like
got I
say
got
like
this.
yeah, like I want to see that. I want to see prime Satchel Paige. Like they said he had like 12 different pitches. I want to
Yep.
see what it was doing.
That's
So
awesome.
that's definitely
That's
one.
awesome. Who were the players you mentioned Jackie Bradley Jr. Who are the players you watched growing up?
So growing up, I watched a few. I mean, everybody loved Jeter. I mean, that's kind of like the mainstream. But like back in the day, it was like Alfonso Soriano. That's the guy who went infield, outfield. I watched Jose Reyes with the Mets. He was electric. Those three, which is kind of like the guys that I like to kind of model the game after. Like now, modern day, you got Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts is kind of like the face. A man played infield a couple of days ago. A couple months ago for the
Right.
Dodgers, and
Yep.
he's playing right field. So
That's very
those are
true.
kind of the guys I was watching.
You mentioned your newly found love for golf. You mentioned your kind of love for going to beaches and zoos. But when you're not off day, you don't have to worry about baseball. Where do we find Tyler Tolbert?
In season or out season?
Out of season. Let's go out of season. Let's go out of season.
I like to travel, honestly. I like to travel out of season. I mean, probably gonna be at a football game somewhere. I like to watch football. Uh, yeah, I'm always with my family. I'm always with my friends. Like I'm always with my like close knit. Like you're not gonna find me in too many places, but I do travel a lot.
You did mention this, and I'm glad you mentioned it again. I want to circle back because you said obviously your middle school passion for basketball. You always said there's football's been all the way around with all your friends. Was it just talent? Why was it? Why did baseball rise to the top here? Because it seems like you had a passion to play other sports as well.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was really good at football, and my friends hate me. Hey, do you know that what you could have done? I was
Did you not
like,
play? Did you
like
play in high school?
no, I didn't play in high school. They
Okay,
were
okay.
just so mad at me
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like I
yeah.
was just baseball. I just honestly knew baseball was it. I just knew that like baseball was gonna put the food on the table, and I was gonna get paid. I can really make a career out of this. So my friends are like, "Do you know that you could have been this?" I'm like, "I know, guys, I know," but like, yeah, yeah, they give me they gripe me about it because all of them played Division One. We got a
Yeah.
couple in the NFL. So it's funny. It is very funny.
You said you like to travel. Here's the question: It's a tougher question than you think, though.
Okay.
You're traveling, but you can only bring one catalog from one artist. So musically, you got to pick one artist.
Oh, this easy. This is easy. This is Drake. Drake can hit on anything. I like Drake can hit on any mood.
I like it. All
One
right.
one catalog. Well, just Drake. Just hey,
So
he
that's
gonna hit on
the
anything.
catalog. Drake's the catalog.
Yeah.
Um, best piece of advice you ever got.
Mm, best piece of advice. Non-baseball or baseball?
No, just it's universal. So the best piece of advice someone ever gave you that you were just like, that's it. That's the thing. That's sustained me as I go through, whether it's on the field or off.
Follow your heart and follow your passion and give it everything you got. Because if you follow your heart and your passion and you dive into it, that's gonna lead to like your pure happiness. You know what I'm saying? Because like you're doing something that you love, you're doing something that you're passionate about, and it brings meaning. And hopefully, whatever you want to do is going to impact other people's lives. Honestly.
Tyler, we're gonna have to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler Tolbert. Make sure you follow him. He is in the Arkansas Naturals, right? It's in the Texas League.
Northwest Arkansas, yeah,
Northwest
Northwest Arkansas,
Arkansas
Arkansas
Naturals.
match.
Make
Yes,
sure
sir.
you follow. He's all over the field, though. You might not be able to catch. It's center field. It's shortstop. It's all over the place.
Yeah,
But make sure. Tell everybody. Do you have socials? Where can they follow your socials?
yeah. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. It's Tyler underscore Tolbert 12 on Instagram and Tyler Tolbert 12 on Twitter.
Excellent. Well, we'll have to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Black Baseball Mixtape. Please, please, please make sure you subscribe, rate the show, share it with a friend. It's a blast. Tyler, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time.